NBC has made the call. Ossoff and Perdue are going to head for the runoff in the Senate seat, in the state of Georgia. I don't know if you knew about that, Cenk, or if this just broke. Oh, you did?
No, that just broke, but I knew that Perdue had slipped under 50%. So what we've got here is two races, Senate races in Georgia that are going to a runoff because that's how Georgia operates their elections. If no one gets to 50%, the top two go to a runoff. So in one of the races, there was tons of Democrats and Republicans, and Warnock and the current incumbent Loeffler came out of that, and they were already going to a runoff, and we knew that going in that they were going to split the vote so much. In this particular case, it was just two people basically, the two major contenders, Ossoff and Perdue, and there was some hope that Ossoff could win outright. He didn't, and Perdue actually has the lead, and his lead for a long time was above 50%. But as those votes in Atlanta are coming in and being counted, Perdue is now, not that he's lost the lead, he still leads, but he's dropped under 50% and now definitively so they will be going to a runoff. So that's gonna be two runoffs. As I said this morning, rebellionpact.com/join, because I guarantee you will run much more vicious ads than any other Democrat. We will be running them against Republicans, against Perdue and Loeffler. I don't know if the Democrats are gonna continue being the weak party that they are, but we're not gonna stand for it. Perdue is a crook and Loeffler is an even bigger crook. And we're gonna run ads telling people what kind of criminals they are. And if they still wanna vote for them, okay, well, it's possible. Trump voters will vote for anything, right? But at least you gotta let them know, and that's the #1 problem with Democrats. So Florida's the best example. We talked about it right after the election. In Florida, $15 minimum wage ballot measure passed by 22 points at least. Joe Biden lost the state by 3 points. Joe Biden is theoretically in favor of $15 minimum wage. That's a 25-point gap. Why? Why is there that gap? Because Biden never ran on $15 minimum wage. He never told people that he's in favor of $15 minimum wage. It might be because he's not actually in favor of it and he was just playing along to pretend to get progressives in his camp. But if he actually means it and he's not a liar, then he sucks at politics. They all do. We'll get back to that later in the program too, with Claire McCaskill and the clown car at MSNBC. But if they're not going to tell people that the Republicans they're running against are criminals, we will.
So just to give you some historical context for that race, so Republicans have won every single statewide runoff vote in Georgia history, a string that started in 1992 when Republican challenger Paul Coverdale notched a narrow win over Democratic US Senator Fowler, but Democrats aim to snap that streak next year, fueled by a surge of new voters. So just historical context doesn't necessarily mean that Ossoff doesn't have a chance. Ossoff forced the runoff vote in nail-biting fashion. Perdue built a significant cushion in rural and exurban parts of the state, but Ossoff's strength in the suburbs cut into the margins. As absentee ballots from Democratic-leaning areas continue to be counted, Ossoff steadily brought Perdue under the 50% threshold. So that's why they're, as Cenk mentioned, gonna have the runoff race.
Yeah, look, the reason I mentioned Rebellion PAC here, because there was two reasons that it was formed. One is to fight for progressives, which almost no one else was doing. Now, by the way, the battle has been joined. Just Democrats PAC is doing a great job on that, and some other PACs as well. But still, there needs to be a lot more in that direction, and before nothing existed. The second reason is because Democrats are on ads that are way too soft, right? So Ossoff did better at the very end of the election. He had that great moment in the debate where actually he did call Perdue a crook, and it shook Perdue so much he didn't show up to the last debate. Now, if he'd been doing that all along in all of his elections in Georgia, he would have been far better off. If you don't remember, the first time he ran in a special election for the House, a couple of years back, right early on in the Trump administration, his themes were kindness and civility and humility. That's not how you win elections. And if Donald Trump hasn't proved that to you yet, with winning miraculously in 2016 and miraculously being this close in 2020, I don't know when it's ever gonna get through to Democrats. So step aside, Butch, we got this going forward. So my #1 frustration in American politics actually isn't about Trump. I'll never let this go. The fact that Democrats have now lost 3 major elections to Rick Scott, who is the current senator from Florida, who committed the largest Medicare fraud in history.
Yep.
How do you lose to that guy? How do you lose to that guy? And it's because Democrats are the softest, weakest party you've ever seen. Step aside, Butch, we got it, okay? I don't care to support the Democratic nominees, they are who they are, okay? But the Republicans, we're gonna come for you. And if you don't like it, you can cry all day long. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.